Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Dash Ragnar, and today I am doing my first Q&A. I had a couple people ask if I was going to do one, and I never thought to because I was like, I don't think people care. But they asked, so I'm like, hey, I'd be happy to put one together and try and answer the most frequent questions that I have. Provide a little insight in the way I train and just the questions you guys have. One of the most frequent questions is where do I get my bows? So I have two major sites that I get them from. One is from Fairbow. This is my one from Fairbow here. Fairbow is a great site. They're a little more expensive, but it's fantastic quality. The wait list is a bit longer. The other ones I use, which I would consider for gap bows, is from a guy named Archery Bowman on eBay. He makes really great heavy bows. They're not as fast and responsive as some others, but they're still really good quality, and they're great because they're a lot cheaper than other places. He doesn't take orders, but they just post up on there periodically. If there's a weight that is like in between the numbers I'm trying to get to, then I'll grab that one there so I have a good bow just to train and just kind of blow through over a lot of different shots. Next common question is where do I get my arrows? Well, the arrows I make myself. So I generally just get choice pieces of hardwood, and I usually use ash for those. Fletching and the tips I get from different sources. The fletching I generally get from Three Rivers Archery, and then for the bodkin tip, this I got from Cult of Athena because they have really good hard carbon steel ones, and I put them through a lot of pressure. You can get short tip bodkins or long tip depending on what you want to use them for, so that's a great resource as well. For the sling that I use, I got this from Hilltop Hurler. He has a shop on Etsy. He's a great guy. You can make them yourself, but I prefer to have professionals do it, and I like to support people who have their own shops. So he's a great tradesman. He makes really good Balearic type slings, and so it's a super good one, so check him out. For this bad boy right here, I got this from By the Sword. It took about 8 to 12 weeks to get here. It's a kind of a novelty thing, there's not a lot of application for it aside from just really trying to do some massive damage. So this was from By the Sword. They have some really good stuff there as well. So that's a good site to check out. A lot of my other stuff comes from the site called Cult of Athena. That's where the spears are from. That's where a lot of the armor is from as well. This armor here was from Arm Street. So Arm Street is a site, they're a little bit more money. They custom make it to your dimensions and measurements. You want higher end stuff, but if you want decent quality stuff, Cult of Athena is really good. That's where I get a lot of my stuff, but that's where I start my search as well. When I first got this question, my thought was bicycle. Well, I ride an S-Works Specialized Venge. For time trials, I ride an Argon 18 with electric shifters. And then for at-home training, I use this Wahoo Kicker. I pair it with a Zwift software. It's fantastic for being competitive and racing against other people. And then I saw other comments and realized that they were talking about supplements and things. And guys, I just cannot express enough how little I care about all that stuff. I have, I think, decent genetics, and I push myself to what I think my max capacity is. But aside from whey protein and pre-workout, nothing else, I care so little about it. And the whole fitness industry, like, I know I have my shirt off, but please just believe me when I say it is the furthest thing from my mind to have like an aesthetic look that is done about through ways that are dangerous to your health. Do not do that stuff. Ask is, what do I do for work? Well, I do real estate, as seen by some awards here. My wife and I have been doing that for quite some time, though we've been able to carve out a good business for ourselves in that field. I do 9 to 5, and you see me doing YouTube stuff here and there, but that's not at all like a career path that I'm looking for. I'm not looking to try to generate revenue to make this something special. I have something already lined up that's good to go. How old am I? I am 38 years old. I turned 39 in July, so I'm getting dangerously close to 40. I am 5'11". I weigh about 185 pounds. Is Dash Ragnar from Shadows of the Empire, and that is a definitive yes. I read that book, I think in junior high. It was my favorite Star Wars Expanded Universe book. I fell in love with the character. I don't know why a lot of people said he was a knockoff Han Solo, but I thought he was just really cool, just like this great, strong character. Kind of selfish, but also selfless at the end. The game came out and I played through that a ton of times. So Dash Ragnar is I use that name for every RPG I've ever played that you can create a character. It's always been Dash Ragnar. And so it just felt like a normal bridge when I created some sort of social media to add that as the name for it, for autonomy, but also just because I thought it was a cool name and I love the character. Do I use my wife's hair dye? And the answer is no. You can actually probably see here I actually have quite a few gray hairs in there. They're coming out more and more every year, and I honestly cannot wait until they turn all white. That's just like a dream of mine. My wife's like, no, when your hair gets white, you have to dye it. I'm like, no, I cannot wait to look like Geralt of Rivia. Chest hair and stomach hair, I have stomach hair. It's just really light. I don't shave in any particular way. I'm too lazy for that. That's just the way it grows. That's a genetic thing that I got really lucky about. So diet workout plan, I have a video on that breaks it down. I've only done like 2 videos, 1 workout, 1 diet. I don't really want to do more because that's just the least interesting part of what I'm having fun doing. You know, I do that, but there's no passion in it. So hopefully those will help you out, but I don't feel like I'm gonna do a lot of workout routine videos because I just don't care at all. As far as for archery, I've been training for about 15 years or so. Again, just like anything, there's time on and off again where you train harder one season than the last season, but I've been really consistent lately, so I've been having a good time making growth with those heavier bows. What got me into archery? Honestly, that was the first time reading Lord of the Rings, and that was something I read, I think in junior high also. I got really sick, not sick, but like I had the flu one year, and I read through the whole trilogy when I was in bed, and I just fell in love with fantasy at that point, and so that was an extension of it. And so it's the one thing I could do where I didn't have to interact with people. I am super awkward in real life, and so I wanted to do more stuff like sword play and things, but you had to meet with people, interact with people, and archery is the one thing I could just do on my own and practice on my own, and that's part of the appeal to me because I like to be by myself a majority of the time, and archery was a great outlet for that. Have I ever completed Elden Ring with a bow build? I have tried many times to do just that, honestly. I really want to, and I get to certain bosses, like I think Margot the Red Omen, or the Bad Omen, and I just can't beat them, right? So I can't truly do it. I'm not good enough, so I've tried. I get the shirts that I wear, so those are like those, you know, pirate type shirts. Honestly, I just get those off of Amazon. I looked up sleeveless pirate type shirt. And those popped up and I'm like, hey, that looks pretty cool. Hey, that's about it for me. Hopefully this wasn't horribly boring. I always feel awkward when I'm talking and there's not a lot of action, so I'm sure I'll splice in some random action in here. But this was the Q&A, and if you guys have more questions, feel free to let me know. I always try to respond in the comments as well, as best as possible. Sometimes the video gets a lot of traction and I can't keep up with it. But other times they're really slow videos, and if you ask a question there, most of the time I'm gonna try and take the time to answer your question, because putting out content is great, but having fun with people online through dialogue and through nerding out is why I like to do this. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing this for any sort of monetary gain. If I get funds from it, it's all just gonna go into buying more weaponry to test, and that's kind of my dream for this channel, is just to fund it as a passion project. So the money I make from this can go towards it, but if I don't make a lot from it, I still have the toys and I'm still gonna do what I can and think of goofy ideas. So thanks so much for watching the videos. Always, I appreciate it. It's an awkward video for me to make because it feels weird, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and thanks for always tuning in, those who do and those who comment. I appreciate all of it.